Okay, you guys, we are back with another banging video, baby. And in this video, we're gonna talk about it. This is not one of our usual topics where we put two kids in a side-by-side photo and talk about them, but I see the internet talking about it a lot, and I believe that critics are being unfair to these two little girls. And we're talking about Blue Ivy and Northwest. Now you guys know that Blue Ivy showed up a few days ago. She attended the games with her dad. She was wearing her natural hair. Seems as though there was some extensions included and, makeup. And many people were saying that her look was too grown for her. But then you have on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Threads where people have put a recent photograph of Northwest and doing a side-by-side comparison between Northwest and Blue Ivy. You could see Northwest with a pretty long nails, and she had henna, which is the artwork henna, and she had the nose fake piercing, the blue braids and stuff, right? Sorry guys. So you could see North, all of that. So someone captioned the photo, having them side by side, saying one girl has her father in her life, the other girl does not have her father in her life. And the reason why I want to talk about it is because I want to drag people's memory back to when Kim and Kanye started having a falling out, because if you're not a Wendy watcher, maybe you would not be up to speed with this, but if you're a Wendy watcher, you would remember. We heard that Kim and Kanye West marriage started failing because Kim wanted Northwest to grow up too fast, and Kanye West was not in tune with that. Kim was okay with North having TV in the bedroom, and Kanye was saying no. Kim was okay with North wearing makeup. At that point, Northwest was about 4 years old. I kid you absolutely not. So, and Kim and Kanye divorce finalized in 2022. And that's when Kanye married Bianca, right? I think 2022, Kim and Kanye divorce got finalized. Someone correct me on that if I'm wrong. And at that point, North was 9 years old at the time. So just imagine, we've been hearing ever since Northwest has been 4 years of age that Kim and Kanye are not getting along, and it's because Kanye has one parenting style and Kim has another. So when they say, Blue Ivy's dress code is more in tune to that of a child, and with North is different because Kanye is not in North's life. Kanye is not in North's life, yes, true, but even if Kanye was in North's life, Kanye would have a fight to keep North as a child. I believe that with some of the things that North does, they're okay with Kanye. I believe that Kanye sees the art world differently. But I think where Kanye would have a problem is wherein it is overly done. For example, she has the henna going on. She has the extremely long nails, the septum piercing, the finger piercing with the blue braids and the heavy makeup. I think Kanye would narrow down North to two things. I think he would tell her the nails are okay. I think he would tell her the blue braids are okay because ain't nothing wrong with the braids. But I think he would coach her on wearing the long nails with the blue braids, the makeup, and the henna art. I think he would tell her to pull back a bit because that is too much. And we have to keep it real, and we have to be honest. Even if Kanye was in his kid's life, there would still be a battle between him and Kim, and that is where the disagreement would come in consistently. Him disagreeing with Kim on how the kids dress and all of that. Now, to drag y'all memories a bit again, I want you guys to remember the song that he did about thanking God for saving him from the crash so he could beat Pete Davidson's ass. Remember that in that song he was saying the kids were talking to him as though he was living in their mama's house, and he was telling them, you're gonna have some respect. This is not your mama's house. And they wanted ramen, and he was like, climb up on your brother's shoulder and get the ramen out of the cupboard. So he was teaching the kids self-sufficiency, helping themselves to do the little things that they can help themselves to do, because that is how kids should really be cultured, because life is fickle. Life is unpredictable. Not everyone gets to keep their parents until the time they're full adult and watch their parents grow old. So Kanye wanted to culture his kids in the way in which they would grow up to be self-sufficient. He wanted them to be artistic and not materialistic. I hope you guys get it. But Kim was always pushing back on what Kanye desires. And I know that Kanye is not there as he's supposed to be, and he should be. I believe he needs to be more involved in his kids' lives. But when Kanye is actively involved, there is a consistent clash between what Kim allows and what Kanye is against. So while I understand that many people are saying Blue Ivy is going to dress better, Blue Ivy's outfit is going to appear to be more child appropriate because Blue Ivy has her father in her life, please don't blame it all on Kanye. Yes, Kanye is absent. Yes, Kanye should not be so absent from his kid's life. But I want to remind you all that even when Kanye was present, there were consistent battles between Kanye and Kim and culturing the kids. Remember, even when Kanye was working on his Vultures album, it seems as though there was a major fallout because North wanted to be around Kanye. Kim didn't want North to be around all those men because Kanye was hanging out around his friends, and Kim was not comfortable with that. But at the same time, Kanye West had told us that Kim wasn't comfortable with North being around him and his friends, and those were North's uncle, and you really can't blame Kim in that. But what Kanye said in his response, Kanye has a point. Kanye said in their house, he remembered after, I don't remember who had passed at the time, and they had like a family meeting, and there were just Playboy magazines, stocks and stocks of the magazine, and these magazines were in the reach of the children. So, as such, I believe Kanye West. And Kanye West has always had this uphill battle with Kim Kardashian. And even if he was in Northwest life, I think this is where the separation would come in, because when Kanye was culturing North into church and into the belief of God, Kim was culturing North into the belief of magic, and the world is a magical world. And luckily, North had gotten the foundation from her father, and North says there's no magic without God. It's all God. So if you want to call it magic, magic cannot exist without God, because that child had gotten that foundation from her father. So it is the same thing with her, fashion. Today, North wants to dress like all the BTS girlies, whether it may be K-pop, whether it may be the kittens. North is at that age where she's easily influenced by these pop stars, and the mom is not striking the balance between how far she should go. Kim is not sitting down and explaining to North that you're only 12. These girls are 16, 18 to 22, and you cannot do as they do. This is their job, but it's not your job, so you have no business looking like that. Kanye West, who would strike such a boundary, if Kanye West was even a part of North's life, and I'm not defending Kanye's absence, make no mistakes, I'm not defending Kanye's absence, because I think, and as I've always said, I would love to see Kanye and Kim co-parenting, healthy, happy, and just being one as a family. I'm not talking about going back together. I'm talking about co-parenting. But I'm saying that even if Kanye was involved, this is where the disagreement would come in. And because North wants to be a grown-up so much, she would start hating her father and picking the side of the mother because she's too young to see the good that the father has in. So Northwest is too young to see the good intentions that the father has for her. And Kanye has always had good intentions. This is why I say when Kanye is on the internet unwell, that behavior should not be supported, because the only people who gets hurt, who gets affected, and who misses out big time are the kids. Because if Kanye West was getting whatever help he could have, he would have been more mentally stable, mentally present, and he would be determined, he would be more mentally balanced, and he would be more determined like hell to be a part of his kid's life and to insist that Kim forces North to tone down on her appearance. But as I've said the other day, Kim, she's not bad as a mom. She's not all that good, but she's not that bad as a mom. She does her best the best way she knows how to, but not because she does her best, it doesn't mean that she's doing the right thing. Kim does not understand boundaries because she wasn't given any boundaries as a child growing up, and she has none for her daughter growing up. So Kanye West getting involved in all of that is going to cause a problem. If you remember when Kanye warned Kim about North and those TikToks, she pushed back on Kanye until the internet saw what Kanye was talking about. And that's the only time the internet realized that, you know what, Kanye is always right. When he says it, we may not like it at that time, but it always turns out to be right at the end of the day. So as such, I would not compare the two girls, and I would not entirely blame Kanye for not appearance and behavior at this point, because even if Kanye was in Northwest's life, it would be a hell of a fight. Kim would be telling us that Kanye is making North's life miserable and unhappy, because when Kanye was there and very much involved, that is what Kim used to do. Said Kanye was making the child life miserable and making the child's life a living hell. And TikTokers used to do tons of videos reacting to what Kim was saying. And they said that North was going to grow up to hate her father because her father has been trying to indoctrinate her into Christianity and all this thing about church. And because they were indoctrinated into church and they were forced to go to church, they know the resentment they have for their parents, and they can see North having the same amount of resentment for her dad, when that's not the case. North actually loves what she was taught when it comes to religion and her father, and that's where she often pushed back with the mom. If you remember when she told us that they went to, I think it was Italy, and she saw those statues and they looked demonic, and she was like, let's get down and pray, So North has that within her because her father was there to instill those concepts, those beliefs, those principles in her. But as it relates to how she's dressing now, that has always been a consistent uphill battle between Kim and Kanye. And even if Kanye was very much present and very much active, Kim would be telling the internet that Kanye was making North's life a living hell. So is there much that Kanye can do? I'm afraid not. I'm afraid there isn't much that Kanye can do at this point, but I still believe that he needs to get involved and he needs to nip this in the butt, because it's getting out of control, and it's getting out of control rapidly. I know it's a holiday thing that Kim, allows North to do, but I think that she should tone down a bit. She loves the art. I can understand it. Tone down a little bit. She can still do those things, but not so excessively. Tone down a little bit I believe, in my opinion. But there isn't much Kanye can do in this case. And that's all I have to say about that for this video. Leave a comment below, and we're gonna talk some more in the comment section. Peace.